Okay, today we're going to be doing a conversion of a video file. We have this MP4 video of an oral history, and we start like we normally do. We open up the metadata creation tool, and I'll open up the data directory. This can be object per file because there's only a single file in that directory. And we're going to pick the field directory on my D drive, open it. It says it found the one. And now we're going to create metadata. So we have some existing institutions here. I'm going to add a new one because this file actually belongs to the Frank Weinberg library of Mequon, WMEQ, and we're going to add 4 zeros padded out to 8 characters and say OK. The aggregator starts at 1. That's by default. Today I'm just going to put in the date. It's an 8-character aggregator. That just limits the number of objects that can be in a directory. It's just for operating system enhancements. And it finds it's a video. Okay, so it pops the video up. And we can start adding metadata down here. I think is field to factory for the title. And if I want to check that, I can actually crank this up and let it come up. There it is. Before the music starts, stop it. So it's from field to factory. So I can go back down to the title here and say from field to factory, and we can create an abstract, and I could set the language if I wanted to. Type an oral history of working people, about P-E-O-P-L-E, people of Mequon, and Thiensville, E-I-I-E-ville. Okay. I'll grab this up so you can see that. Say OK. And then we can add more metadata. Here, let me shrink this up. We don't need to see the video yet. So we can see it grab the owner and the type, a moving image, and we can set the publisher as Frank L. Weinberg Library, and place publication is in Mequon, Wisconsin, and the publication date, I'm going to set this at 2018. And the conversion date, or the capture date, is today, because we actually converted that from another format to MP4. We'll talk about that in another video. 2018-0522. So these are ISO dates. And language is English, but again, what we're going to do is going to probably add some extra languages to this because there are other peoples in the Mequon-Thiensville area, so there are French and possibly German. And we could add German, we could add Slovenian, we can add Polish if we wanted to. And we can just add languages. All right. Notes, subjects. I'm just going to add a geographic subject heading here. This, again, for those of you who use ResCarta, this is fairly typical. You would do this for documents or photographs or oral histories that are audio files, county history books, whatever you can scan or photograph or digitize. So we're adding metadata. Done with that. We could have added a lot more subjects, but that'll get us through. I'm going to close that. Now I'm going to open up the data conversion tool. That's the number 2 in your files, and we're going to go back over to D, videos, field. So we're going to grab that, and it was writing over to a previous job. I'm going to just go grab my C drive here for a second. put it someplace where I can find it. So C, and then it puts RC data by default, and this is per file, and we've already made the metadata, so we set that to ResCarta mets. Now, we're not doing OCR, but we might want an audio transcription of that video file. What this will do, if you're doing audio files, it actually embeds it into the WAV file. In this case, we're going to create an SRT file, or a file that will allow us to do subtitles. Okay, I'm going to click the conversion file. Now, through the magic of video here, I'm going to make this happen a little bit quicker than it would do in real time, because just watching this is like watching water boil. So let me click this forward. Boop, there you go, like magic, 14 minutes later. So this conversion took about 14 minutes to convert that video file into a ResCarta format. What we're going to do next, let me pull this down and close it up. I'm going to show you the C ResCarta data and the Mequon double, there we go, today's date, number 1. Now you're seeing all these SRT files. What we actually created was the metadata file here. The metadata file is pretty much a standard output for ResCarta. We store a standard video file or text file in TIFF, audio files in broadcast wave, and what we do is we embed all the metadata into this file, and we also read up all the technical metadata out of the video file, so that in the metadata it'll tell you it's an MPEG-4, its duration, its horizontal size, its vertical size in pixels, what is the frame rate, so that it has all the technical metadata. Notice this is also being done in a format from the National Archives instead of the Library of Congress, which we are typically using, but in this case, Library of Congress didn't do a very good job on metadata, so we adopted the standards from NARA. Okay, I'm going to open up this SRT file, and the way we got these other languages is we actually used another open source toolkit called the Subtitle Edit, and you can just Google that. And this thing has so many bells and whistles on it. It allows you to look at the video, crank around and see how the subtitles would look. It allows you to play the audio. Now I got the audio shut off on this, so you can't hear it playing, so you can hear me talking. But it allows crazy things like auto translate. So once we got that SRT file from the ResCarta tool, we could go in here and edit it. We can create other languages using Google Translate, and it'll just create those SRT files. So we can create German and French and Slovenian and whatever we want. Yeah, the toolkit, our toolkit, the ResCarta toolkit, we were going to put an editor in, because we do have an editor for text and we have an editor for audio. But in this case, this tool does so many things. It does it so nicely. It merges long lines, short lines, splits them, bridges gaps. It changes time signatures. It'll do everything you want it to do. And again, it's an open, free software, so no sense recreating it. All right, we're going to open up number 5, our collection manager, and I'm going to add this to our demo data. When you get ResCarta, it comes with this demo data. So if those of you who have looked at the ResCarta toolkit before, you'll see that this is pretty much familiar. This is the same demo data we've been punching out for a couple of years. You can look at maps, so you can come over here, you can zoom up to see what things are. We pick newspapers. I'm going to have to set this back, boom, and I can zoom up on the photograph here. So you can zoom around. You can add pagination, those kinds of things. We know how that works, or at least you may not know yet. So let's add a new collection, and here I'm going to add a collection called Oral Histories, because I might want to put videos in here. I might want to put some audio oral histories in here. I might want to put some text audio histories in here. So I'm going to pick our Mech1 page here, and again, it allows you to preview it. This is being done by someone else. I can jump around and see what the images are like. Metadata is there. We say okay, yep, that's what I want, and we have the object now in the collection. Again, we can play, stop, run the video from the collection manager as well, so you can see what it looks like. You can jump around, everything you might want to do in order to check the metadata and make sure it's right. And if we're good there, we can say save the collections metadata, and if you're doing OAI PMH, you can actually go to Dublin Core preferences here, write out some Dublin Core metadata. I'm going to output this to our C OAI output, and it's going to put it in Dublin Core OAI Dublin Core format. And for this case, because this is running off my local machine, I don't have a URL for my local machine. I'm just going to call it localhost. This is the sample, so it comes out with the port number of 8302, and it's ResCarta web. All right. Say OK. Would you like to write it now? Yes. And here, I'll pop this up, show you what it did. Here's OAI. It's empty. Go back here, say yes. Yes. It wrote it out for 16 objects. And we can go back, and here they are. So it goes down. Here's my Mech1 data. All right. So we've got collection level metadata. We've got Dublin Core metadata if we want. We can exit the collection manager. Boom, that's done. Let's open up our indexer. Why do we want to index it? Because it has textual metadata in the SRT file and our metadata so that it can be searched on the web. So again, we're going to open this up, and notice this is Rcver7 now, our latest iteration of indexing. We don't have to rebuild the index, and that should normally be off. The only time you have to rebuild is if there's actually some corruption in your index. It rarely happens. So here's the 16 demo data items, and the last one here is an oral history. No, excuse me, a county history, so it's 1,000 pages. That's why it took a little longer. But that was it. Hold 12 seconds to get those indexed. All right, now along with your toolkit comes a web server. That's the same Tomcat web server that you can use. It's from from Apache, so it's the Apache Tomcat web server. It's starting up. It's starting up ResCarta web application here, and it should be up. There it is. So many milliseconds. It's up. I'm just going to set this down here and open up a browser. So I'm opening this up with Firefox, and you can use Chrome or whatever. It doesn't make any difference. We support Firefox and Chrome and Mozilla, Opera, IE, and Edge. Most major browsers. So I'm typing this in here. This is my local address on my machine. So it pops it up. We can browse the archive. Click. Takes a couple seconds to load the first time. Okay, it's loaded up. And let me show you, well, maybe what I should do is change the size here. There, that looks better, so you can see the whole screen. I'm going to scroll down here where we got our collections, and we'll get down to our oral histories, and it looks like it's empty, but it says, oh, there's one item, but there's nothing here. That's because I click on oral histories, and here's the oral history, shows one item, field to factory, because there's no thumbnails. The thumbnails are not part of the archive, they're part of the web server. So let me log in here. Admin, password, it's the default, by the way, for the demo. And here's our server administration tab. And I can go over here and click thumbnails, click and click start. It's not going to take very long because there's only 16 objects. You'll notice with video now there's also this little Cultura tab. We'll get to that later. Alright, so it's already done. So let's scroll down. This is real time, by the way. So scroll down. Now we got a thumbnail for our oral histories. We click on it and here it comes. Loading, playing. So it's playing the English here. And we get to do
The horse has got the good hay.
jump around, see our
There are poor farmers and good
things
farmers.
if we see them in
Like we have
German,
today.
Bauer,
The
Varsch,
good farmer was prosperous,
French,
so he'd
War,
raise his
Slovenian,
calf and it
jump around.
That's pretty
Okay.
reserved for
So let's go back to English here for a second.
But I say they made butter.
Anyway,
out of it,
so the
butter,
player plays your
milk,
video, and this is
cream.
playing, there's some metadata that we entered. This is playing directly from
When asked about the local creamery,
ResCarta application. So let's go do a search now. Type in Mequon search. Only finds one because it's a very small collection. But here's all the words. It says Mequon. And as we go here, go back to English so you can see that it's doing it.
this is the story of
Here's
working
one at a
people
minute
in
44
Mequon,
in.
Thiensville, a unique, certainly the
Here's
majority
one
of
at
early
2
residents
minutes
of
and
Mequon,
23
Thiensville.
seconds in.
Here are
Here's one at 14 minutes
the
in.
railroad was key to the development
it's
of
finding
Mequon, Thiensville.
Our terms
The
as we go. We can pause it,
Chicago,
turn the
Milwaukee,
audio
and St.
off,
Paul
we can
walk.
turn it back on. Anyway, finds all of our data. Alright, I told you I'd tell you about this tab up here. This is the Cultura tab. Now Cultura is a multimedia server. If you're in a larger institution and you have your own server, you can keep your data local and still send it up to the statewide or the university level Cultura server. So I'm just going to put in my service URL, which is, we actually have one here at ResCarta. This, by the way, is also the open source version of Cultura. So this is a free multimedia player if you want to get into multimedia servers. So I set that up. That's my partner ID. And my player ID is the actual player that you can design inside of Cultura. So I can go back over here. Now I'm going to pull up another toolkit. Yeah, this is set to RC Data 1, which is not the collection we want. Excuse me while this is the one we want here, so I'm just going to cut this guy out of here and paste him in here. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my Cultura site. This is my admin secret, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this directly from my machine to Cultura. Now what that just did is it launched off a Cultura application, and now we're using the Cultura player. That was that player ID number, and you'll see we have more features in this player. So I can speed things up, I can slow things down. There's a little image icon up here, field of factory. So the player.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid.
You can pause it, click on ResCarta, and that's it. That's how we do it.